I think going through this pandemic, it's certainly opened up the discussion for Australians in terms of what sort of manufacturing industry do we want in this country. For those who don't know, in Australia, we were largely set off. Our big heavy industry was set off the back of a competitive advantage being low cost of energy, and that competitive advantage has slid away in recent years. But what this pandemic has done is effectively got people to think, well, what are the things that we need to make? What are the things that we need to have in this country that if our supply chains get cut off, if there's geopolitical tensions in the region, what are the things that we want to make sure that we can do and produce at any point in time?
Let's talk about wages then in a little bit more detail, because in this post-COVID, or we can't quite call it post yet, but in this environment with the coronavirus really hitting so many industries, I mean, are you finding for your members that bargaining for higher wages is going to just be more and more difficult over the next few years?
Yeah, I think so. And I guess it's really hard to predict in terms of what the recovery is going to look like. In Australia, we've seen one of our states in Victoria recently have a spike in sort of what is known as a second wave cases. So it's really hard to tell what's going to happen to demand in this country going forward over the next 6 months, 12 months, because we don't know how long some of the restrictions and lockdowns will have in place. But what we do know is for a lot of our members at the moment, with the mechanisms put in place, we've got a JobKeeper program, which provides some support to employers to keep people employed throughout this journey. That is keeping a lot of people employed. Our fear is if that turns off in September, as it's predicted to do, that's going to put enormous pressure on a lot of businesses to unfortunately let people go. For us throughout this journey, it's not really been focused on trying to build up wages and conditions. It's really been a focus in making sure that workplaces are safe, that our members can go to work, that they're protected, that their industries are essential industries. And we fought really hard to make sure that where it was safe to do so, that a lot of the industries that we look after could continue operating. And I think that's going to be part of the balance going forward in terms of restrictions coming off and how much more production do you get going back on. But I reckon if the Australian government turns off that tap for JobKeeper in September, I reckon that's when we're going to see some real economic damage.